everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Books Central podcast. I'm Abbie, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by Laura Croft. Laura is here to talk about her latest non-fiction book, Fun on the Seven Seas, which is your ultimate guide to cruising. Laura, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Abbie. It's great to be here.
So Laura, tell us about your book. What inspired you to write it?
Well, Abbie, as someone who's worked in the cruise industry for 10 years and an avid cruiser myself, I've always been fascinated by the world of cruising. And yet, despite all the fantastic experiences I've had on board, I still hear so many people express confusion about what to expect and how to best prepare for their cruise. So I decided to write this book as the ultimate guide for anyone who loves cruising or wants to learn more about it.
That sounds fantastic. I know you cover a lot of ground in the book, but can you give us a few tips or tricks that might capture our listeners' attention?
Absolutely. Let's start with choosing the right cruise. One of my top tips is to think carefully about what kind of experience you're looking for and what amenities and activities are important to you. For instance, if you're traveling with kids, you may want to look for a family-friendly cruise with lots of onboard activities and child-friendly dining options. If you're a fan of luxury, you might prefer a higher-end cruise with gourmet dining and exclusive amenities. And if you're more budget-conscious, you might be interested in a smaller, more affordable cruise with fewer frills. Whatever your preference is, it's important to do your research and choose a cruise that fits your needs and budget.
That's excellent advice, Laura. What about packing essentials? What should our listeners bring with them on their cruise?
Well, depending on the length of your cruise, you'll likely need a range of different items. But some essentials to consider include comfortable, breathable clothing for daytime and more formal attire for evenings, sturdy shoes for walking around on deck and exploring ports, sunscreen and a hat for protection from the sun, and of course, any necessary medications or personal care items. I always recommend packing a small carry-on bag with a change of clothes and any essential items you'll need on your first day in case your luggage is delayed or lost. And speaking of your first day on board.
Yes, let's hear about that. What can we expect on the first day of our cruise?
Well, depending on the size of the ship and the number of passengers, embarkation day can be a bit overwhelming. But don't worry. It's pretty straightforward once you know what to expect. You'll likely have to go through a security checkpoint and check in with the cruise staff, so have your passport or other identification handy. You'll then be directed to your cabin, where you can drop off your luggage and explore the ship. Many cruise lines also offer a welcome reception or other activities on the first day, so check your itinerary and plan accordingly.
Great! Now let's talk about eating and drinking on board. What options are available, and how can passengers get the best value for their money?
On most cruises, meals are included in the cost of your ticket, and you'll have a range of dining options to choose from. Many ships have large buffet-style restaurants where you can grab a quick breakfast or lunch and more formal sit-down restaurants where you can enjoy a multi-course meal in the evening. Some cruise lines also offer specialty restaurants that require an additional fee but offer higher-end cuisine and more intimate settings. As for drinks, many people purchase a drinks package, which can give you unlimited soda, water, and alcoholic beverages for a set price. If you plan to drink a lot on your cruise, this can be a great value, but make sure to do the maths and calculate whether it's worth it for you. Those are great tips, Laura. Finally, what's one more item you would recommend that our listeners bring with them on their cruise? Thank you. Well, depending on your interests, there are a few items that you might find helpful. For instance, if you're a reader, bring a few good books to enjoy on deck or in your cabin. If you like to stay active, pack a pair of sneakers and gym clothes to hit the fitness center or join group exercise classes. And, of course, don't forget to bring your camera or smartphone to capture all the incredible memories you'll make on your cruise.
Those are all great suggestions, Laura. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your expertise on cruising. And to our listeners, please check out Laura's book, Fun on the Seven Seas, for even more tips and tricks on how to make your next cruise the best one yet.
Thanks for inviting me, Abbie. I hope the information was helpful to your listeners. I encourage you to try cruising.
Thanks for listening today. Hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. Remember to tune in next week for another Books Central podcast.